On September 29, 2019, Deputy James and Deputy Zhang from the Shelby County Sheriff's Office in Tennessee, a potentially dangerous engagement unfolded due to their reckless actions. The incident began when the officers responded to a call regarding a package theft based on doorbell camera footage. The complainant, Mr. Aaron Branch's girlfriend's mother, alleged that a neighbor had taken a package from her porch. Upon arriving at the scene, Deputy James and Deputy Zhang engage with the witnesses, specifically Ms. Vernita Eccles, who identified the neighbor across the street as a suspect. She further mentioned that the neighbor might have a bench warrant for her arrest. Within minutes, the officers made their way across the street to confront the neighbor, seemingly without validating the claims made by the callers. Surprisingly, Deputy James immediately announced his intention to arrest the neighbor without properly investigating the situation. It was during this engagement that Mr. Branch, the original recorder of the incident, arrived on the scene while openly carrying a firearm on his hip. He questioned the officers about the package's ownership, leading to Deputy James ordering him to disarm for officer safety. However, Tennessee law permits citizens to bear arms for self-defense, and there's no requirement to disarm themselves around officers unless there's a legitimate safety concern.
Okay, now that box that came off the front porch, did y'all see a name on that box by any chance?
We didn't get a chance to look at it because it was stolen before we got a chance.
Now, if we show you guys what the box looked like, how you doing, sir? Are you an officer, sir?
Put your hands up, man.
I don't need to put my hands up.
This is for officer safety.
I don't need to put my
This is for
hands
officer
up.
safety.
Don't do that, sir.
The situation escalated as Deputy James unholstered his firearm, which Mr. Branch rightly challenged. This action was unnecessary and potentially dangerous escalation, as Mr. Branch was not displaying any behavior that indicated he posed a threat to the officers. Deputy James cited a state statute to justify his actions, but his interpretation was flawed considering the circumstances. Furthermore, the officers threatened to arrest Mr. Branch and his girlfriend for disorderly conduct, despite being on private property.
The proper procedures, you're supposed to ask if he has his handgun permit.
You don't know. Okay.
Yes, I do.
Hey,
Yes, I do. We went to the class. Yes, I do.
I don't need to keep my
Put your
hands
gun
up.
away.
I haven't committed a
Yes,
crime.
put your gun away.
I have
You
not
asked
For
to
committed
see
officer
his-
safety.
You
This is
asked
for
to see
officer
his
safety.
permit.
Ma'am.
Okay, can he just step in the house then?
No.
I need
You
that
asked
car.
to see- No, no,
We're not talking to you,
I'm
man.
No,
in my
sir.
car right now.
You
We're
asked
not
to see
talking
his
to you right
permit.
now.
You asked to see-
We're not talking to you
Okay,
right
we'll go in the
now.
house then.
I don't need to go in there. I haven't committed a crime.
You have a
I haven't
permit.
committed. I do have a
We're
crime.
not saying.
Where's your permit?
Amber, record Officer James. We're gonna make a
Wait,
start
wait,
here
hold,
today.
hold.
I'm gonna make a start at
Come
James
on.
today.
There's
I'm gonna make
no
you a
threat.
start, James. I'm gonna make
Let me
you
see
a
your
start
permit.
today.
Step
Okay.
away, man. We're
You're
not
right.
talking to you.
Okay.
Safety,
Let me see
man.
your
Okay.
permit.
Okay.
Keep this arm up. Let me see your permit.
I don't need to keep anything. I can do whatever the
Police officer, no, sir.
Do whatever.
Calm down.
Do what you do. Do your
Police
job.
officers
Do your
are-
job.
He got the permit.
Police officers are in your presence.
The First Amendment protects speech on private property, and the officer's threats infringed upon this right. Legal precedents underline the special protection for personal liberties within one's home. The officer's subsequent behavior with an unidentified woman, initially detained due to the reported theft, raises Fourth Amendment concerns. While reasonable suspicion justified her initial detention, the officers extended her handcuffed detention in a police cruiser even after she provided evidence that could have dispelled their suspicions. Courts have ruled that such extended detentions could transform investigative stops into arrest, violating the Fourth Amendment.
There it is.
That's not
You go to law school?
I did go to law school.
Okay, you passed the bar?
I did
So
pass
you're
the
a
bar.
lawyer?
I am a lawyer.
Okay.
I don't have to
Just
disarm
go in the
myself.
house.
That's not how the
Just
law
go in the
works.
house.
Come here.
I'm not
Come
going anywhere with
Come
you.
here.
Just go
I
in
have
the
not
house.
committed a crime. They know I haven't committed a crime.
Okay,
They know I have not
Amber.
committed a
Amber.
crime. Amber, I want you to record them. I'm gonna make stars out of both of them. James
ahead.
and Zing. I'm gonna make big stars out of them. I love tyrants. I love tyrants like yourself.
Either
Property.
you step inside or you go to
I'm a
jail.
private. I'm a law-abiding citizen.
5, 4,
I'm not your child.
Wait, hold on, wait.
Child.
Yeah,
Child.
go on.
I'm not his child.
No,
Bro,
because
bro,
you
you're not scaring nobody with that fucking permanent
question or whatever.
You're not talking about.
Despite these issues, Mr. Branch managed to de-escalate the situation through assertive dialogue. He challenged the officers' actions while maintaining composure and asserting his rights. Eventually, the officers released the detained woman, but not without her being held for an excessive duration. Now, let's move on to the next investigation. In an incident that occurred on July 3, 2021, officers from the Elkhart Police Department were called to respond to a disturbance at a hotel in Elkhart, Indiana. The officers stopped 3 teenagers whom they believed to be responsible for the disturbance and demanded that they identify themselves. As tensions began to rise, one of the bystanders at the scene started recording the encounter.
It doesn't matter. Talking about us. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. He doesn't want you guys back here. And to verify that, I need your names so that if you do show up again, you can then go to jail. Okay? So what is your name before I put you all in handcuffs and take you all to jail? Okay. Then you're gonna. I ain't going to jail. Okay. What is your name?
Y'all ain't got that right now.
Yeah, we do. We waiting, buddy.
Despite the potential escalation, the officers did not conduct a thorough investigation into the situation. According to best practices for police interactions, responding officers are expected to perform comprehensive preliminary investigations, including interviewing witnesses to accurately determine suspects. However, the officers in this case seemed uninterested in investigating further and instead continued to insist that the teenagers provide their identification.
Because we can't verify that you are a parent or guardian. So, again, I'm going to ask again before you all go into that. What is your name? We can't just release it. Let me talk to them. Let's talk to them.
But if they weren't part of the confusion, then I don't understand what's going on.
I told you multiple times.
The boys and bystanders maintained that they were not involved in the initial disturbance, but the officers did not seem willing to consider this possibility. The officers' conduct raised questions about their failure to follow proper investigation procedures, even though there is no legal obligation for police officers to conduct in-depth investigations.
You're not in trouble, man. But if you keep playing this game with us,
I want him to come out here before I say anything.
They gone. They went out the back door. They went out the back door.
No, I'm talking about the manager that said that we was because he know it's not us.
No, it wasn't them.
Exactly. That's why I wanted to come out here.
He doesn't want to come out here right now. Okay,
Man,
he has a job to do, which is
there.
inside. No, because he doesn't want you inside. He doesn't want you on the property.
The bystander recording the incident questioned the officer's authority to detain the teenagers based on Indiana's trespassing laws. He argued that since the teenagers had not refused to leave the property when asked, they could not be considered trespassing. The officer countered by citing Indiana trespassing law, which allows charges to be brought against individuals who knowingly or intentionally refuse to leave private property after being asked to do so by the property owner or their agent. However, legal precedent indicated that a police officer who is neither the property owner nor an agent of the owner cannot create a trespass violation merely by asking someone to leave and then arresting them for noncompliance. In this instance, the officers were acting in their capacity as police officers and not as agents of the property owner, so their detention of the teenagers on suspicion of trespassing seemed unjustified.
These are not them. Alright, these are not them.
So would you like these gentlemen also trespass on the property? Or do you,
we didn't have nothing to do with it. Yes. No, they had nothing to do with it. Alright, man, get my...
stand up.
The other dude jumped out the gun.
It was taller boys who are probably already all gone because they knew that you were coming and they don't want to
That's what
deal with police.
Okay, he come out here.
No, but when I walked in, he pointed to you gentlemen.
Man,
that's
all
all
I
I
have
have
to
to
come
come
out.
out.
You
You got my name for nothing. You got my name for
He
nothing.
didn't want to come out.
It wasn't that hard for him to come out here and clear it up. You trying to put it in here to take me
Sure, because you're not cooperating.
You're not doing his
It's
job
easy
right.
for me to control the
Not doing his
situation.
job right.
I am doing my job right.
See, y'all don't know
What's your name, badge number?
They was talking about. They was in there talking about gunplay with this dude, man. That's
Sure,
what I said.
and
Y'all
when I
didn't
got
have
here,
nothing to do with
listen,
it.
when I got here,
Yeah.
he pointed to these gentlemen.
We told you it was
Okay. The description that he gave. I can't take your word for it when he pointed to you.
Furthermore, Indiana law does not have a stop and identify statute that mandates individuals to provide identification during criminal investigations. The statute requires individuals to provide identification to law enforcement officers, and that only applies when someone is stopped for an infraction or ordinance violation. This means that the officer's demand for identification lacked a legal basis.
He did. He pointed. He was already in there, bro. He pointed to you. Okay.
Name and badge number, please. Is an LCAR policy for you to identify yourself to the public?
My guess is they probably already left.
Okay.
Because they all probably have their licenses.
That's fine.
And they drove off because they didn't want to deal with you guys.
The situation escalated further when one officer claimed that the hotel manager had misidentified the teenagers as the perpetrators of the disturbance. Despite the assertion from the bystanders that the detained teenagers were not involved, the officers seemed unwilling to reconsider their actions. The bystanders and teens remained composed, and with the intervention of the bystanders, the officers were eventually compelled to release the teenagers. Now let's take a look at another investigation. In a notable incident on June 12, 2020, a confrontation between an Amazon delivery driver named Deja Murphy and property owner Keith Miller in Lowell, Indiana, has brought to light the complexities of enforcing laws on private property. The incident, originally reported by the Times of Northwest Indiana and discussed on Lackluster's channel, involves issues related to traffic laws, private property rights, criminal confinement, and police authority. The situation unfolded when Miller, convinced that Murphy was speeding on his property, employed his truck to block her exit.
Good luck, buddy.
No. Bottom line is, I need your ID.
Sure.
You're going to pull your truck in your driveway.
Yep.
I'm going to get her information. I'm going to do a report, and we're going to go about our day.
I'm going to get my wallet from my office.
Huh?
No,
you're not. You're going to just give me your name and information.
Oh, sure.
I'm going to
Give me right down for you.
Yeah. I'm not spending all day with this. This is ridiculous.
I asked, and we have since put cameras up. I just said,
what's your last name?
Down. Miller, M-I-L-L-E-R.
He proceeded to demand her identification, thereby initiating a tense standoff. Responding to Murphy's call, Officer John from the Lake County Sheriff's Department arrived at the scene. He clarified that he lacked jurisdiction to enforce speeding laws on private property, igniting a discourse on the distinction between public roads and private driveways. Indiana's legal framework underscores the limited jurisdiction of traffic laws on private property. State law specifies that highway regulations pertain to publicly maintained roads accessible for vehicular travel. In contrast, a private driveway, such as Miller's property, doesn't fall within this category. Therefore, Murphy's alleged speeding on the driveway couldn't be penalized as a traffic violation under Indiana law. However, exceptions do exist. In certain cases, police can enforce traffic rules on private property where the public's invited. This enforcement relies on local ordinances and agreements between property owners and law enforcement authorities. These provisions empower the police to regulate traffic and parking on private property under specific circumstances.
Thank you. Sorry. Pull forward.
Okay, ma'am. I need your license.
Okay. And may I ask why
Because you called the police, he called the police,
Just making
and
sure.
I'm called here. That's why I need your information. That's all the information I need. And he's upset because you were speeding. I told him he couldn't do what he's doing. And you're going to go on your way, and if you have any issues, you and your company can stop delivering here.
Okay.
How's that?
He came to my door. That's what bothered me. He came in my door, opened the door, told me to get the hell out my door.
While these local ordinances may not encompass the full scope of state traffic laws, they still grant authorities the capacity to uphold specific regulations. Miller's actions also raise questions about potential criminal charges. Officer Marshall suggested that his conduct might align with the crime of criminal confinement, defined as knowingly or intentionally restricting another person's liberty without consent.
That's harassment.
You know what? Let's stop.
Okay.
We're going to do a report. We're going to go about our day.
It's harassment, though.
Everything's everything. You know what?
That's harassment.
There'll be a report on file.
While Murphy's situation didn't precisely match this definition, it highlighted the broader issue of maintaining public safety and individual rights on private property.
To the prosecutor's office?
This is Lake County?
Yeah.
Yes. We'll give you a case number.
Yeah, I want the case number, please.
It'll be on the report, sir.
What's your name?
It'll be on the report. It's Marshall.
Marshall? Okay.
And tell your friend on the phone I'm not upset with you.
That's my brother.
You know what?
You know where everything's going on? That's the only reason why
Everyone's fine. We're here. I don't need your brother telling me my job and what we need to do. I think you need to get a hold of your supervisor and tell him
no, we already talked.
Okay.
She was on the phone when all of this
get a hold of your supervisor. What's the phone number you can reach that?
219-779.
The incident also touched on the concept of harassment. However, Indiana law defines harassment as involving communication with an intent to harass, annoy, or alarm another person without legitimate communication. Because this definition doesn't cover in-person interactions, Miller's actions toward Murphy, while unsettling, might not fall within the legal definition of harassment. Fundamentally, the incident underscores the scope of police authority concerning private property and the need to strike a balance between individual rights and public welfare. Indiana's police power enables the state to enact reasonable restrictions on private property to ensure community safety, health, and morality. While the jurisdiction of traffic laws on private driveways remains limited, criminal violations, regardless of the location, can still lead to police intervention.
Hey man, how's it going?
All right, how about you?
Good.
Have your name and badge number, please?
Yeah, it's Officer Gris. My badge is 1641. Is
Officer
there a reason
Gris.
why you're recording there, boss?
Yeah, I'm gathering content for a story.
Oh, great.
Personal story.
What about?
It doesn't matter.
Okay. Is there something we can help you with or help answer any questions for you?
Nothing at all. Thank
Okay.
you very much.
Are you able to give me your information just so I know who I'm talking to?
Negative. You can call me good citizen.
What is it?
Good citizen is what you can call me.
Okay. Is there any reason I gotta know why you're...
Am I being detained?
The lady cops come into the frame and ask the individual about why he is recording, to which the individual assertively asks for the name and badge number of a lady cop, suggesting a desire for accountability or documentation of the interaction. The lady exits the scene.
I know I'm not on state grounds though.
You are. If you go on the other side of the south side, you're more welcome to do that.
This is actually a public thoroughfare,
So I'd
right?
like you
If
to
I
go on
was
the other side
if
of
I
the
was
stop
coming to
sign.
visit somebody, I could just drive in here, right?
Correct, but on the other side of the stop sign, you're more welcome to do that. On this side of the stop sign is state ground. Seeing how the fence is there, I'd like you to go back on the other side of the fence.
Well, I'm on this side of the fence.
That side of the fence, please.
I'm not sure that I have to, boss.
I'm asking you. I'm asking nicely.
No, I
don't
understand.
wanna-
I understand that. I understand you're asking me nicely, but I'm not sure that I have to do that. I'm here to get some footage. I'm a journalist doing gathering footage.
Can I see your ID, credentials?
I'm not going to give you my ID,
Why not,
and I
sir?
don't have to give you credentials. So I'm a journalist gathering content for a story, and I'm allowed to do this right here. I
You are
looked
welcome
up.
to do that
I
on the
looked
other
up
side of
your
the stop
guys'
sign.
property line.
On
Actually,
the other
it's
side of the
very
stop sign.
public.
You
Your
understand what I'm
guys'
telling you?
this is actually a public thoroughfare.
It's
So
not.
if
This
I
is state ground, sir.
no, this is I understand it's state grounds, but it's public.
Then another officer comes in. The individual and the cop they interact with disagree on the permissibility of recording in this context. To support his stance, the individual references a Department of Homeland Security memo issued in 2010, which is believed to outline guidelines concerning filming in publicly accessible areas. Amidst the discussion, the individual firmly asserts their identity as a journalist and their purpose of gathering content for a story. This claim is used as a basis for refusing to provide identification when requested.
Now, is that a law or a policy?
That's our policy. There's no filming on state grounds.
You said
You're
it's a
gonna need to go on
policy?
the other side of the ground.
Is it a policy? You said it's a policy, right?
Correct. It's our state policy. State policy. You cannot film on grounds. I need you to go back over there.
Okay, policies don't trump rights.
All right.
So
I need you to go on the other side over there, or I will go call the police.
okay, I mean I understand you
Is
can
that-
call the
that-
police,
is that-
but they're
is that
gonna
the
the
direction we
police
wanna
are
go?
gonna no, not really, but they're
But
gonna
that's-
educate you.
I'm just trying to get you to go over there and not have an issue.
I got you, but the police are just gonna educate you, and all they're
Okay,
gonna
that's
do is
fine.
say, hey,
If
this
they
is
like to come and do
public,
that,
this
they're
is
more welcome to do
publicly.
that.
2 hours later.
And they're saying that you're free to go, so as far as I'm concerned, you're free to go.
Trying to get on ground.
Okay,
Can I ask you-
and I'm free to
can I ask
stay
you a
as well,
question?
right?
Can I ask you?
Officers free to stay on this public utility, correct?
Yeah.
Okay. Thank you guys. Hey, what was your name again? Figueroa? Is that it?
Figueroa.
Thank you for being professional. I appreciate it.
You're welcome.
Very, very courteous. And I will go ahead and get out of here now.
This.
The discussion surrounding the classification of the location as either public or private property. The man engages in a back and forth with the individuals present, questioning the designation of the area. In response to potential interference, the speaker mentions the possibility of calling the police and expresses confidence in their ability to remain on the public utility. As the conversation progresses, tension escalates and the individual becomes increasingly confrontational. They challenge the officer's perception of ownership over the property, questioning their authority and implying a sense of entitlement. The speaker also makes remarks about the significance of obeying orders, perhaps suggesting a critical view of the officer's actions or perceived abuse of power.
I'm just curious. I'm not being a dick. I'm just asking questions. Mr. Helmer, Jay, Jonathan. I don't want to call you.
You've obviously got my name, but you won't give me your name, right?
Of course I won't. I don't have to. I'm a private citizen. You're a public servant. It's a big difference, right? Don't you agree?
Why wouldn't you give me your name?
Just because I don't have to. Sir, if you could educate the officers as far as dealing with the public and standing on public property. So.
Who do you work for, bro?
What was that?
Who do you work for?
I work for me. I work for myself. Yeah, I'm independent. Yep.
Okay.
I am independent.
Okay. You got the footage you needed?
Yeah, I'm done now.
Okay.
I'm done now.
You need from him?
Nope. He has the information to contact our public information officer. So I am requesting that you leave our grounds now.
Okay. This is public. Look, we got that straight, right? I'm in public.
You can more welcome.
Now I might stay here for another hour. I mean, you know. You can take a picture of me. That's fine. That's okay. That's your right, officer, to do that.
What's your name, sir?
Yeah. I'm not going to give you my name.
Is there a reason you don't want to?
I just don't give my name out.
Are you wanted by the law?
No. Are you wanted by the law?
I'm wanted to do my job.
You got anything on you you're not supposed to have?
No, everything is perfectly legal.
The speaker engages in a back and forth with the individuals present, questioning the designation of the area. In response to potential interference, the speaker mentions the possibility of calling the police and expresses confidence on their ability to remain on the public utility. As the conversation progresses, tension escalates, and the speaker becomes increasingly confrontational. They challenge the officer's perception of ownership over the property, questioning their authority and implying a sense of entitlement. The individual mentions being independent and concludes the interaction by stating they're done filming. The individual comments on the desecration of the U.S. flag on an officer's uniform and criticizes their attitude about it. Now let's move to another video.
Okay. Do you have any ID on you, man?
Nope, I don't need to provide that.
You could probably out with one.
Like, you stop running stop like you get stop across the street. You get a stop the line.
I didn't hear.
What's up, man? Did I commit a crime?
Huh?
Did I commit a crime?
It's an infraction.
Is it a crime?
It's an infraction.
Is it a crime?
Meaning that I'm able to stop you.
Is it a crime?
You ran the stop sign.
Did I commit a crime? Did I commit a crime?
Like, you're really good, sir. You really are. Because you have to stop at the stop sign to see where I was.
You know I don't have to ID, right?
This one captures an encounter between a cyclist and police officers. The cyclist questions the officers about stopping him from running a stop sign.
You ain't got nothing better to do or what?
What's that?
You don't got nothing better to do or what?
As far as what?
Like, going out and doing your job.
This is part of my job.
This is serving the public?
Yes.
What are you doing right now?
Making sure you don't drive, run the stop sign, and the vehicle hits you. Or causing that driver to swerve, and then...
Oh, so you can't just come and tell me? You have to get my identification for that?
Yes, we do the same with everybody.
You do? What's the reason for identification?
So I know who you are.
For what? Why do you want to know who I am?
Explain it to you because you ran the stop sign on your
Because I ran the stop sign?
Yes.
Didn't you have somebody pulled over right now?
I didn't, no.
You didn't? Is that right?
Our gang officer.
There was two of you, and that wasn't you right now?
There's more than one of us.
That wasn't you right now?
No.
Are you sure?
Yes.
Okay.
Our gang officers.
You ain't got nothing better to do or what?
What's that?
You don't got nothing better to do or what?
As far as what?
Like, going out and doing your job.
This is part of my job.
This is serving the public?
Yes.
What are you doing right now?
Making sure you don't drive, run the stop sign, and the vehicle hits you. Or causing that driver to swerve, and then...
Oh, so you can't just come and tell me? You have to get my identification for that?
Yes, we do the same with everybody.
You do? What's the reason for identification?
So I know who you are.
For what? Why do you want to know who I am?
Explain it to you because you ran the stop sign on your
Because I ran the stop sign?
Yes.
Didn't you have somebody pulled over right now?
I didn't, no.
You didn't? Is that right?
It's our gang officer.
There was two of you, and that wasn't you right now?
There's more than one of us.
That wasn't you right now? Are you sure?
Yes.
Okay.
Our gang officers.
The cyclist confidently asserts his right to refuse to provide identification unless he has committed a crime. He challenges the officer's authority by questioning the legitimacy of the stop, emphasizing that running a stop sign on a bicycle does not constitute a crime. The cyclist's argument is centered around his understanding of his rights and the boundaries of police authority. By asserting his knowledge of the law, he attempts to establish a position of power and challenge the officer's actions. The person accuses the officers of having nothing better to do and questions their role in serving and protecting. The person requests a supervisor and expresses his intention to file a complaint against the officer. The speaker said that on the cop's face, he will file a complaint against him as he is acting very unprofessional. The person's continuously asking about the crime he has committed and why he is being detained. The cop has no clue about it but is following what his supervisor told him to do. The person being detained expresses doubts about the officer's lack of proper documentation or penal codes to justify their actions. The officers mention a possible reason for the stop, stating that the cyclist matches the description of a stolen bike. However, the bicyclist disputes the claim, vehemently asserting that his bicycle is not stolen and challenging the accuracy of the information provided by the officers.
Yeah. But I didn't have to ID.
Traffic
Yeah.
violation? Yeah.
I know.
That's what I'm like, that's what I understand.
Oh, I'm not going to argue about it.
You're dismissed.
Thank you.
One of his reasons was because,
You guys are both dismissed already.
Stop that. Stop being
No.
Stop being a jerk.
Ma'am, do you have any other questions as far as...
Stop being a jerk.
Mm-mm.
Don't talk smack after
No. This guy needs to know. No, he can't come back. Just like I told you, he wasn't gonna ID me.
Like, it's true.
Did he ID me?
Like, that wasn't his initial reason in the first place.
Exactly.
Like, stop this bullshit. You didn't have a fucking reason. You had no reason.
We're about to see the walk of shame.
Stop that. You're
That's not safe.
There it is, guys, the walk of shame.
The cyclist adamantly argues that there have been other bikes in the area and expresses disbelief at the officer's claims. He repeatedly questions whether he is free to leave, seeking confirmation from the officers. Finally, they respond affirmatively, stating that he is indeed free to go. He zoomed the camera on the cop when he was walking away with embarrassment on his face and told the cop that he'll get famous on YouTube because of what he did in the park. Now we'll move to our next video.
Hey, how you doing? I'm alright, how are you? It's not allowed here to take photos or videos, okay? You need the permission from the administration about that.
So it's not allowed to take photos or videos here?
Decide now.
Wait, who do I need permission from?
Administration.
From administration? Yeah, I don't think that's the case.
Long Island Audit, an individual, was recording at a public library when approached by security personnel who requested them to cease filming. The person's identity, referred to as Long Island Audit, suggests their involvement in documenting public interactions and encounters. The incident occurred within the premises of the library, where the security personnel took notice of the individual's filming activity and expressed their objection.
Have you not heard that before?
I've heard it plenty of times. It's just I'm surprised because, well, my name and my badge number is right here.
Uh-huh.
Okay, you see it?
Tibbets?
Yep,
640. The pen is blocking the number.
Oh.
640?
Yep.
And Dennis 647. So what I'm doing here is a First Amendment protected activity.
That's good.
I'm recording. I know you don't care, sir, but listen, if you violate that in any way and interfere with that,
I'm not violating it. They asked you to leave.
Yeah, but that they can't ask me to leave. This is a public library. Can I speak to a supervisor, please?
Despite being asked to halt their filming by security at the public library, the individual declined to comply. They invoked their First Amendment rights, specifically their freedom of the press, as the basis for continuing to record. By referencing this constitutional protection, the person asserted their belief that their actions were legally justified and protected. The First Amendment, which safeguards freedom of speech and the press, grants individuals the right to gather and disseminate information, expressing their dissenting stance and asserting their right to document public events and encounters. When police officers arrived at the scene where Long Island Audit was filming, the individual sought to engage with a supervisor. By making this request, they aimed to escalate the situation and potentially address their concerns with someone of higher authority within the police department.
You guys should call one, correct? So, I'm going to request a supervisor again. I would appreciate if you guys can get a supervisor down here.
In a minute. You don't rule the roost here right now.
Yeah, no, I'm just requesting a supervisor just for
In a minute.
because you guys are a little bit hostile. I can see the tyrant in you, Utter.
Oh, yeah.
You're a real tyrant.
Yeah.
I can see it in your eyes.
In law enforcement experience.
Seeking the involvement of a supervisor suggests that the person felt dissatisfied with the initial interaction and hoped for a different approach or better understanding of their rights. After the arrival of a supervisor, the situation escalated further as the person was faced with the threat of arrest. Feeling compelled to comply with this ultimatum, they reluctantly provided their identification. The threat of arrest likely created a sense of urgency and fear of legal consequences, prompting the person to reluctantly reveal their identity.
I don't, obviously. I don't know.
You took an oath to it, though, Tibbets.
Jeez.
Dude, why you gotta be such a
You
tyrant?
gotta be such a tyrant. See what I'm doing there?
Acting like a child?
Yeah, so are you.
Acting like a child.
Did you get permission when you post that video of these people?
Don't need it. They're in
You
public.
don't need it?
Yeah, they're in public. Don't need it. See, you're learning something here today, man. Come on.
This is not going to end well with you, you know that.
Okay, we'll see. We
No,
will see.
I'm telling you.
We will see. I'm not scared of you.
And you're not supposed to be scared. I don't care. I'm
Okay,
just
great.
saying.
Great.
Long Island Audit took decisive action following the incident by filing formal complaints against the officers involved in the encounter. Unsatisfied with the treatment they received, they expressed their intent to pursue legal action by filing a notice of intent to sue. The response demonstrates the individual's determination to hold the officers accountable for their actions and seek justice for any perceived violations of their rights.